It's the love again that sets us free. It looses the binds that control our lives. And without love, we will continue to be in bondage. And not in a good way. But we would be bound up, not being able to breathe. See, when you are not loved or not feeling the love, you will not be able to speak. You will not be able to breathe. You would basically not able to live a life that God has put out here for us to live. We wouldn't be able to see how beautiful the flowers are or the birds that sing. Even to the point of, I know it's gotten on people's nerves now, but the cicadas that have visited us, those are God's creatures. And if you never felt love, you will always feel like something is bothering you, that all these things happen, and why is this happening? This month we're going to talk about truth. And according to the dictionary, truth is a fact or a belief that is accepted as truth. So, what is truth to you? It's what you believe, right? Is it something that somebody told you that is and you believe it? Have you had experience with it? Or you just accept the truth because your mama told you, your daddy told you, your teachers told you, your preachers told you. You just accept it. What is belief? Beliefs are conditions, perceptions that are formed in our mind based on previous experiences, whether good or bad. Our beliefs. So back to what I just said about you can believe that you are not loved and people will be loving you, but if you believe you're not loved, if somebody told you long time ago that you are not loved and you will never be this, that, or another, you will grow up believing that. No matter how many people show you love, you wouldn't believe them. You would believe what you heard from perhaps your mom, dad, sister, brother. I remember I was talking about this morning. I guess I've always been a rebel. In high school, I got put out because I argued with the teacher because I said Christopher Columbus did not discover America. And he was all American. He fought in the war and all that. And so how dare I say that? And I said it because my daddy told me. And I don't believe what you say. I'm going to tell you he did not. And they put me out of the class. Well, they didn't actually put me out. I stayed out. Because I wasn't going to sit under anybody who was not telling me what I thought was true. I'm still like that. Whether it's true or not, I'm still like that. I said, oh. So some years ago, I wrote this poem, and it came from the fact that I found it was on NASA, and it said something about Isaac Newton did not discover gravity. And I said, what you say? Now, that's kind of the same way as when we talk about the light bulb, and we forget to mention Lewis Latimer. It is so much, people, that it's not true. it's not truth. It's a part of it. Yes, he did during his time. Yes, this person who owned the company can take credit for something that somebody else did. Yes, that's true, right? And that's what happened a lot of times. But what is truth? And so when I realized that there's more truth than the truth, that opened me up to abundance. It opened me up to understand that there is more to this life than what we've been taught. What's happening now? What we've been taught. What's happening now, especially men with the MLB? Y'all don't know? Y'all don't know? I guess I'm saying it right. Am I saying it right? Yes? The baseball? Y'all haven't heard it? Y'all haven't heard what's going on? Yes, yes. And so I'm reading the comments, and there's comments saying this is not true. They cannot because they didn't bat against them. That's not true. It don't matter what they say. I'ma still say who? Ty Cobbs. And what's the other man? What's the black person name? Josh Gibson. Oh, Josh Gibson. No, he didn't do it because he didn't bat. He didn't play in the games. What is true? The truth of the matter is that whatever number he played, his batting average is better than the one they said. Truth. Okay? Truth. And there's probably more truth than that. I'm sure. I'm taking a class. It's what's my class? Life coaching. And in our last assignment, it talked about the belief system. And it says our belief systems are formed when we emotionally attach ourselves to people, circumstances, and experiences. One of the biggest obstacles to our success and well-being is the subconscious obsession with how you view situations, people, and circumstances. Beliefs are nothing but nervous commands that filter your experience of reality and shape your thoughts. So what's our thought about Jesus? Here at the Center for Divine Love, divine science is what we are, and our beliefs is that Jesus was a way maker. He formed or taught us a way to get to the Father, to the source, to the divine, to love. That's what we believe, right? How you going to say that? Because according to what we have all agree upon, he said, I am what? The way, right? I'm the truth, and I'm the life. That's what he said. And we believe that. He's the way, the truth, and the life. So who's truth? So let me go back. On yesterday, as I laid in the bed after seeing something on Facebook, because again, I'm like that. I do research. I ain't going to just put out stuff without researching it. So there's a series, and I want to suggest that we all look at on Netflix. It's Queen and Jenga. Her name is Nzinga, but the story is Nzinga. And it was so deep on what sometimes we believe truth is. Because it hasn't been told, this truth. It's kind of a documentary with movie-like, but you got these experienced people coming in talking about certain things. the thing about it is that there have been talk about her fighting the Portuguese. And yes, she did. And there's a picture, if you ever see the picture of her sitting on the backs of one of her, I'm not going to call them subjects because they were not. They were her servants. They were her servants. Not slaves, but her servants. And the reason why, and I heard people talk about it and say, look at her, she treated her people wrong. Well, the truth of the matter was she was sitting in front of and making a deal with the Portuguese, and they told her to sit on the floor. And she said, like I probably would say, would you ask your mother to sit on the floor? I would probably say that. She kind of said that. She said, my famous words, who do you think I am? And so she said, I always come prepared. And she asked her person, and they came and they bent down, and she sat on their back. Why did she do that? So that she can be eye to eye with the people that she was sitting in front of. See, she, like Shirley Chisholm, brought her chair. Right? She brought her chair. So she said, now we can talk. Because she knew who she was. See, she fought to be known as a king, queen. And the reason why she fought so much about that is because she understood what it meant to leave a legacy. They had killed off her father and her brother and her baby to stop the legacy. They killed off the step brother to kill off the legacy, but she still was there, she and her two sisters. So she and her two sisters carried on the legacy. It was at one point I felt kind of bad because I said, oh my God. Because what they said was, if you allow us to get some slaves, that's what they said. If you allow us, because they had to come to her because she had covered so much of the territory they couldn't get by, then we will give you your sister. They had captured her sister. And at one point she said no. Then at another point she said okay. Why did she say okay? Because you have to know your enemy. That's the truth. They had guns. They had weapons. They had things that she didn't have. So she had to give up some people in order to continue on with what she had to do. Truth, people, sometimes we do have to sacrifice something to get what is true. And for years, I don't think what we don't realize that is true is that African people have been in slavery for over 500 years. We're not talking 1865 to 2024. We're talking 1611. But it actually was even more than that because Portuguese got into Africa like in the 15th century. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? This is truth that I'm talking. In order for us to heal, now I'm going to go back to Reverend Dr. Howard Denson's transformation agenda. In order for us to heal, first of all, we have to go back. We got to Sankofa it to find out what happened and why we do the things that we do today. And what I found in that is that Queen Nzinga became a Catholic. She didn't become a Catholic because that was her truth. She came up a Catholic so that she can do what she needed to do. to get to what she needed to get to. Matter of fact, it came in her favor at the end because the Pope was also into that slavery thing. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Y'all didn't know that. And he was the one who had to okay her to be the king or the queen in order for the Portuguese to leave her alone, because the Portuguese was under the Pope. She was a smart woman. And sometimes we have to do things like that. Sometimes we have to sacrifice a little bit of something to get to something. But her whole thing was a legacy for the people not to take control over her people. And it wasn't until, and I might be wrong on the dates, I don't know, but it was some 50 years or what have you, after 3 of the sisters or whatever left, before they took over, and it became Angola, which it was not. And the Portuguese, with their guns and what have you, took over. So what do you believe? What is it that, what's your truth? What do you believe in now? Again, right now today we're talking about the MLB, right now today, that they don't believe. The truth has come out, yet they still don't believe. What is it that you believe? Do you believe, like we believe, that Jesus is the way maker, that he makes a way to show us love? Do you believe that? Do you believe that he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life? Do you believe that? Do you believe that he says, what I do, you can do more? Do you believe that? I believe that. Do you believe that you are a loved individual and that God loves you more than anything? And that you were made out of love? Not because you were a black person. You were made from love. Period. Regardless of what happened. You didn't have to be here. The body, the way God made it, is fantastic. Fantastic. Did you know, as an egg, you didn't have to be the one? Do you know how many eggs was gone and how many sperms died before you came? There is a reason you are here. And we have to make our mark like Jesus made his mark. We got to make our mark like Queen Nzinga made her mark. We got to have a purpose in this land. If it's nothing but to go to the next person and say, I love you, because no one said that to them today. I appreciate you, because no one said that today. So please stay with us as this week, as our upcoming speakers will be speaking on truth, their truth. They can come up here and say something totally different from me. Why? Because that's their beliefs. I just want us to be clear on what our beliefs are. You, what is your belief? And stand on it. If it's indeed true to you. Last thing before I go. What's true to me? I was saying, sometimes I have a feeling, I get this feeling. I thought about it this morning when I first got into church. I heard a voice say to me, you go when I tell you. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't go to church then. I didn't come from a church family. Well, my grandmother was a Methodist. But, and my mother. But, you know, I didn't go. And so I was invited to this revival. And I went to the revival. Well, I went because the Spirit told me to go. I went. And I remember sitting there and like Reverend Tia sitting there, and I was sitting there and I'm listening and whatever. And next thing I know, my truth was I was stuck. I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on with me, but something happened. Something. And I remember the mother was Mother Hamilton. She was one of those mothers that if you did something during the week, you didn't go to church because she called you out. You know their mothers will call you out. So she called me and said, bring the little girl up here. And I come up and I receive Christ. It's my Lord and Savior. And all the time I was sitting there, I was thinking about, boy, I sure like to have a cigarette. I did. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'll be glad when this is over because I want a cigarette. I did. Cools. And I went home that day. And I went to smoke a cigarette. And I was gagging. And I said, okay, I'm going to finish this pack. And every one I got, I gagged. I'm steady. The last smoke that came out of my mouth went through the room whole like this. And I watched it. I said, oh my goodness. I never picked up a cigarette since. That's been over 30 years ago. That's my truth. That's what I believe. And sometimes that old thing wakes up in me where I know that sometimes the hand get to itching, Mr. D, because I know the truth and the power of God. Y'all understand? I know the truth and the power of God. I know the power and healing of God. I know the power of love in God. I need you to know it. I need you to feel it. It's an electrical feeling, so powerful that you will fall down to your knees. It will knock you out. That's my truth. I want y'all to feel that one day, if you don't feel it. I need you to feel that truth. That same, I remember riding in a car, in a cab, and a man said to me, and another truth I didn't know. He said, did you know that the same electric that's in the sky is in you? I said, what you say? The same electricity that's in the sky, that comes from the sky, is in you. So just imagine, it's in you. You are a superman or a superwoman. You are a king and a queen. Don't forget it. God bless you until next week. Peace.